Sanctuary City showdown. Seattle is filing a lawsuit over the threat of funding cuts to sanctuary cities. Seattle risks losing $2.5 million in DOJ funding in 2017 if Attorney General Jeff Sessions follows through on his threat. Here now is Sheriff David Clarke from Milwaukee County. Thanks for joining us. I want to read to you the argument that they're making specifically. And this is from City Attorney Pete Holmes. He says local governments do not enforce federal law. We are prohibited from doing so, and moreover, even if we did, given this administration that would like to commandeer our resources, we would face civil liability, ironically, under federal law. What do you think of that argument?
Politics over duty, that's what they're choosing. Look, my suggestion would be to put the Democrat talking points away, Democrat Party talking points away, and let's have a serious discussion about what is a crisis in this country. Nobody's asking any local community or police department or sheriff's office to enforce immigration laws, but they are to assist. Look, if we're going to have a good effective public policy in the United States, it is dependent upon local, state, and federal officials cooperating in the pursuit of justice. These mayors are leaving their cities wide open to assaults, to rapes, to murders, to turmoil, and ultimately violence in taking the position that they are. So, you know, we're talking about criminal illegal aliens. I don't know how anybody in the United States could say that criminal illegal aliens should not be deported. We're not asking the local communities to deport. Jeff Sessions, Attorney General Jeff Sessions, is going to win on this thing. These cities, the Democrat run, they are addicted to federal funding. And once you cut that off, trust me, they're going to come back to the table.
So another argument that they make is they say that with these laws, if it's not a sanctuary city, that people in the communities are afraid to report crimes, and they either don't cooperate or they're afraid to come in and report whether it's assault or rape or abuse, because they're afraid that once they make themselves known to the authorities, that they will then be deported. Is that not true in local policing?
No, it's not true at all, and it's not measurable. That's an anecdote. Look, that's one of the problems here is we don't know. We don't know the effect of underreporting and non-reporting of crime. But I know this much, that people who are in the country illegally probably are less likely to come forward with some pretty heinous stuff. We're talking domestic violence, child abuse, for fear of being identified in the country illegally, but that's not who we're after, and that's the smokescreen being thrown up by these mayors, some of these sheriffs, and some of these chiefs. The fact is that they are turning their back on even the illegal immigrant population who is not engaged in criminal activity, because they are providing a safe haven for these criminal illegal aliens to continue their criminal ways within these communities. The best thing to do is to get them out of here and instill public confidence in the illegal immigrant community that the police are there to protect them as well.
This is what Massachusetts sheriff said, calling out a state representative for a Facebook post that was warning of ICE raids. Listen to this, I'll get your reaction.
I can't think of anything more irresponsible and more underhanded and undermining to law enforcement and to the people of that community than what this state representative did. She ought to be ashamed of herself. The state legislature ought to be looking at her for, at a minimum, ethics violations. And on top of that, I'm sure there'll be some review as to whether or not she may have compromised some investigation involving ICE.
What would you do if that were your community, Sheriff?
Well, there is a federal statute that provides for criminal sanctions for people who knowingly harbor illegal aliens within their community. I think this is a violation of that. So I would look for the U.S. Attorney's Office in that district to start an investigation, get the FBI involved, find out what really happened here. And if the elements of that federal statute are met, I would suggest that the Attorney General go after criminal prosecution of that stuff. Look, that's just an outright abdication of the responsibility that people have to obey the law. The rule of law is supreme in the United States. The Supremacy Clause says these local laws and ordinances do not outweigh the Constitution.
Sheriff Clarke, thank you for your time. We appreciate it.